So, how does a restaurant stand out in this crowd, especially with so much to choose from when it comes to the food scene right here in Dubai? Let's ask our co-host, Yousra Zaki. The group food editor at Time Out GCC joins us live here in the studio. Always lovely to see you. Thanks so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.
Look, who better to ask? I mean, Time Out is an international brand. You go around the world, you can find out Time Out food markets like we have here in Dubai and in other capital cities around the world. The brand itself is synonymous with reviewing restaurants, for suggesting restaurants to go to, eateries and otherwise. Why does Dubai stand out at the moment? How has it got to where it is in terms of the food scene here?
I mean, you know, we just celebrated our 20th anniversary of the Time Out Dubai Restaurant Awards, and it really made me reflect on the past 2 decades, and I've kind of been here this entire time because I grew up in Dubai. I'm a Dubai kid, and I saw it go from eating chilies on the weekend to dining at Row on 45, you know, for a special occasion. So I do think it is such a young scene, but at the same time, so much has happened over the last 20 years, especially over the last 5 years. I feel like the leap from brilliant to breathtaking, it just happened so fast. And that's all because of the chefs of Dubai. And I think the Dubai government does a really good job at really nurturing that talent, and it gives them the freedom to really come up with amazing dishes that we all get to enjoy.
And there's nothing wrong with the chilies or a fuddruckers the weekend still, is there?
Absolutely not. You said that. I was like, I could use some chilies or fuddruckers right now with their burger, the salad bar. I'm like, that sounds amazing. But I want you to back me up here, because I was arguing that the dining experience has changed. Has it, in your opinion? Is it more about storytelling and culture and authenticity, or are people still craving a bit of that popularity and the stars and the accreditations?
I feel like the stars and the popularity and the celebrity chefs will never really go away, but we see like a drift towards more the local chefs who are coming up with their own version of what Dubai cuisine should be. I see that they're moving away from cuisine-specific dining into more cuisineless, borderless dining. I recently went to Three Bros, which is Mohammed Orfali's latest restaurant, and I was so blown away by how punchy and creative and amazing the dishes were. And I felt like that kind of food, it was just really difficult to define. And I think when we give chefs the opportunity to just be as creative as they want to be, you get that kind of food. And I think diners prefer the local chefs to perhaps the bigger names that they might not connect with. These are the guys that live right next door and cook food that we all grew up eating.
But I mean, do you think that this is a bit of a trend? Because we have seen, like, the Dubai food scene, it goes through trends. At one point we were all eating Peruvian, then you couldn't go to a restaurant without having a burrata. Like, there was salt and a show on everything. You know, do you think that, you know, there always seems to be a trend in the way that the Dubai food scene is establishing itself? And how do we kind of step away with that and have restaurants that have longevity?
I think that's a great question, but you could really argue that trends tend to be worldwide, and I'm not saying we follow them, but I think when you discover something you like, or when someone comes up with something creative, everyone else kind of wants to touch on it and do the same thing. I think if you're saying the trend is that everyone's kind of doing something as the cuisineless dining, or chefs really focusing on chef-led dining, then perhaps this is a trend that I'm happy to follow.
Yeah, okay.
We hear all too often about authenticity and being authentic to yourself, whether it be about content creation or be about whatever you're doing career-wise. Is that what makes you set, and you know, let's not kid ourselves, it is a very, very competitive scene. We constantly talk about the success stories out there. That is balanced by a number of not so successful stories as well. So how do you stand out from a hungry crowd?
You talk about authenticity, and I don't think about it as a way that you have to be authentic to the culture or cuisine that you're cooking, because one of the most popular Thai restaurants in Dubai isn't really authentic. It's created by a young Indian chef who who lived in Thailand for a bit, wanted to try something new and made this 11-course tasting menu that's authentic to him rather than to Thai cuisine, where normally that's the food that you normally see more traditionally presented in Dubai. So I think the authenticity has to come from who you are as a chef and your story as a restaurant rather than sticking to the rules of authentic cuisine.
I mean, it is, absolutely. So we were talking about social media obviously impacting every industry and obviously impacting the dining experiences here. What are the trends that are currently shaping the scene, and are they relevant?
I think the trends currently, I mean, look, there are the viral sensations of the paratha burger that you'll line up 30 minutes to try. I mean, there is a reason it is viral. I think people are into it. People like the weird mashup of culture. They like the flavor. I personally haven't tried it because I didn't want to stand in line for 30 minutes in the Dubai Mall, but I think there's a reason something is trendy on social. It means people are curious about it, they want to try it, and if it's good, then great. But most of the time, I find that I'm a bit disappointed by the catfishing of social media sometimes.
Because Dubai chocolate took such a life of its own, and I'm sure both of you agree with me, or all three of you. When I was traveling this summer, I didn't go to a single town, no matter how small it was, without Dubai chocolate being there. What sparks that to that extent?
I believe it was 1 or 2 TikToks from big creators who tried it, tasted it, and then that was a snowball effect, because at some point, the Crown Prince of Dubai was posting it on his Insta story, and you know, once you've achieved that, everyone will want to eat your product.
Right, we're going to have to do it. Let's address this one. I hate asking this question, but I've got to ask it. It's what I really want to ask is the 3 dishes you advise people never to eat in Dubai. But we're not going to ask that because that wouldn't happen. So your top 3 at the moment. An experience that gives you just a flavour of these cities, some of those hidden gems out there that you've come across recently.
You mean particular dishes?
Yeah, dish, venue, chef, Epco garage, whatever it might be.
My current obsession is Three Bros, or Fali. Can I elaborate a little bit?
100%.
He really knows what the palate of the Dubai diner wants. And he cooks with acid and fat and salt and sweetness, and it's just the perfect, every dish is so well thought out. So Three Bros is one of them. I, to this day, probably will never stop thinking about the escargot at La Petite Maison.
Very good, yeah.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
And my third is, I would say, this one's a bit unorthodox, and I might insult a lot of Italians with this, but Reef does a truffle udon noodle with like a creamy sauce. That's quite good.